So, hello again.
Hello.
Hi, I'm here again with Joanne, and we had a wonderful conversation. What was it, a week ago, 2 weeks, something like
Yeah, not long ago. No.
that long ago. In the meantime, you wrote me a very beautiful sharing, very beautiful feedback. It's one of the nicest we've heard so far.
Oh,
It's
well, I
not,
wanted to share it with you, so I hope you got to share it with other people. Yeah.
I did. And just for the sake of this video, perhaps if you want to relay it again, or I could just read it, whatever. What do you
I
want?
can't remember exactly what I said. If you want to read it, that's fine if you have it.
It's a good sign because your experience was not even an experience, but it's a non-experience, and obviously it wasn't in the mind, so it wouldn't be in memory. But yeah, so you wrote 2 days ago, I was listening to Gabor's interview on Conscious TV. I thought to put awareness in my hand, and a few minutes later, everything stopped. I guess it was the practice portion that you were watching, right? Where he
Actually, no, it was just him talking.
really, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the video,
Yes, there's a
he doesn't like to call it meditation. He was told to do a guided meditation, but he doesn't like to call it meditation because it's not really meditation. As you so beautifully stated in you said that I thought to put a awareness in my hand, and a few minutes later, everything stopped.
Yeah.
First time I've experienced what is trying to be explained.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was exactly my experience when I first did it.
Yeah.
And you said, I realized this is not meditation or spiritual energy shift, but something hard to explain.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that is actually a very, very, it's a wonderful milestone. I often say to Gabor that I feel if people don't get that this isn't meditation and that this isn't spirituality, then they haven't quite grasped what it is. They haven't quite gone to the depth that you have.
Yeah.
This experience.
Yes.
So it's a really, really important thing to perceive. And that's exactly what I felt as well.
Yeah.
Because, I've meditated for years and had all kinds of spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
And but when I did this practice that you're talking about, which is feeling a body part.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last time.
Yes.
That the body is the door to universal consciousness, to the universal intelligence. And
yes.
If we want to connect with a higher intelligence, consciousness, or our being, what better way than to enter the body, to feel the body from inside, a body part of the whole body, because that opens the door, and that's what happens. We don't like to call it an experience because it's not. And with Gabor, Gabor and I had a long conversation about this yesterday as a result of your email. And we just, the main point was that an experience is in the mind. And we've all have experiences on this level. Remember we talked, this is duality, the horizontal, past, present, future.
Yes.
Experiences are here. They're in the mind. There's nothing wrong with them, but it's not where we're going. It's not, when we leap out of the mind, out of spirituality, that's when we have that's when everything stops.
Yeah.
And that's when we our being recognizes itself. It's almost a cognition rather than an experience.
Yes.
A re-cognition. It's not surface mental excitement like most experiences like Kundalini and Bikini.
No.
All those things.
No, and I don't think I fully understood until then how much my focus was on a person who meditated, who got this intellectually, who wasn't a past one, but was heading towards a future one that really got it. This is behind all those cast of characters. This is none of them.
Right.
Switch off.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with meditation. It was just a switch off.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that whatever you, for lack of a better word, experience, or whatever you perceived, or whatever anyone, whatever happens in that space, is pre everything else.
Exactly.
It's primordial. It's not energy. It's not a vibration.
No.
It's not a frequency. It's before all those. You know, people say, raise your vibration, raise your frequency.
No.
It's fine. It might feel good, but it's still here. It's still in the horizontal. It's still in the mind.
You know, though, Nurit, it was so strange because usually meditation, you set aside, and I'm not a big meditation person, but like there's half an hour. I'm being very honest with you. I thought I'll put awareness in my hand. I was just listening into it. It was quite relaxed, but I wasn't tired. And I would say I started to feel something happening within 2 minutes. And then it just dropped.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say. Something just dropped. And I couldn't even tell you how long I was in it. No idea. But no bliss state, no euphoria, just dropped down.
Yeah. It's complete silence. So it's like
that's the best way you could say, complete silence.
Yeah. It's the most nothingness that can be. So sometimes if I
I don't know, but it's really hard to explain. It isn't meditation. It really isn't.
No.
I don't really know. You could probably explain it way better in Gabor could, but it's not meditation.
So this is what he teaches. I only explain what I explain is because I've experienced it like you. So I'm attempting to explain my experience, which is what you just had. This is what he teaches, and he teaches also all kinds of practices and techniques to deepen it and to make it more permanent. And one of the traps that many people encounter are the desire to compare it to an experience that they had in the past. Because a lot of people, when they're so full of spirituality from here, and when they attempt to go out, to leap out, they find it difficult because their mind is looking for an addition to this. And here, there's no addition to this. There's none of this when you leap out.
Yes, yeah.
And if somebody, we always watch it and we see when somebody does a practice, for example, and then starts to compare it. Oh yeah, this is just like the meditation that I did. This is like this is like that. It is very clear to us that they haven't leaped. Because when you leap out of the mind, there is no more comparisons. You can't.
No, I thought this evening, I thought speaking to you, and I thought, well, how would I say? And there was nothing I could come up with to say. Everything I said, well, it's quiet. There's nothing. Well, it's everything. So I thought, give up, Joanne. You're not going to be able to describe this. I can't work it. And I think that's what, but it's silence, but it's got no descriptive qualities, no standout. There's nothing to say.
Yeah.
But it's not confusion or numbness, because that's against the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's, I think that's probably part of the answer to our previous question about other teachers who seem to be perhaps awake. I don't know. I haven't met many of them. Well, actually, I've met some, but I'm not going to go there. But they can't explain it. They haven't learned how to teach this. There's no precedence for this. Gabor spends so much, all his waking hour and sleep sometimes, he spends trying to find the words, trying to explain it, trying to give something that the mind can hold on to until it's able to let go and collapse into the body, and by doing that collapse into their own being. But it's taking him many hours and countless hours of teaching it and answering questions. When I met him, all he had is feel your hand. There was no teaching per se. There were no other exercises to do. What started it off is that because of the baggage that I've come with, spiritual baggage, that one might call a good thing. Some people try to make me say that it prepared me for him. Well, no, it actually created blocks. Because
that's true. Yeah.
Comparison, because you keep wanting to compare. But because I had so many questions, it forced him to answer them. It forced him to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then the real, the even greater leap that he's done with his teaching was when we came to Hungary, because of the Hungarian language. Remember, I think I was telling you how the Hungarian language is so incredible. It contains the being as well as hints of how to get there. Bad language, but
oh no, you did. I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. He was just telling me yesterday, based on our conversation about experience, there's a word in Hungarian, because we were looking for another word for experience, because we know it's not right, but
yeah,
thesaurus it doesn't always come through for us. But in Hungarian, there's a word called élmény. Am I saying it right?
Oh.
Yeah. Élmény. And what él is life. And what that word means is life plus experience.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's life essence.
Yeah.
It's really life essence in a way that we can experience it or be with it or cognize it, recognize it, as opposed to a surface mental excitement of an experience.
Yeah, it's completely different, but it's very hard seeking something to understand. To be honest with you, I could say things that could sound quite boring to some people. Go, is that it? Well, no, I can't formulate, because you can't speak about it.
Right.
It just feels like almost even a stepping back isn't the right way, or a sinking back, but it's no forward energetic motion or thought process to anything. It's almost devoid of any perspective of knowing of anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I often say that the practices, the only problem with the practices or the techniques that Gabor gives is that you actually have to do them. Because without actually doing them, without actually, let's say if it's a feeling the body part or whatever the technique is, without actually doing it, we're not free of the mind.
No.
At all. And in my experience, whenever I enter the body or feel a body part, that's the only time my mind actually stops.
Yeah.
I feel like the mind can't get there. The mind can't do it. And the mind doesn't like that, of course, because it wants to be in charge, but screw the mind. You know, so far we've all been using the mind for everything, including spirituality. But then how is that working out for us?
Not very well. And I was thinking about how when you'd experienced it and you had said that he had to say, this is it. No, don't move quickly away with your mind.
Yeah.
Stay there along that, this is it. Because you wonder how many people could have experienced it and have just been dismissive and thought that, no.
No, it can't be that simple. He actually also says that preliminary feeling of the hand and entering that space. In a way, he also calls it like a test, like to see whether you are willing and capable to accept that kind of simplicity.
Yeah, I think that's so
it is so simple, and it's so non-tantalizing, like spiritual experiences, that some people just don't want it and they don't get it. But if you're willing to be simple, and you have that capability of being simple without comparing it, without analyzing it, without asking, okay, what's next? I did a long time ago, I did an hour consultation with somebody from, I think he was from Norway, or I don't remember where. And we both got in so deep. We were feeling the body, and at least I thought he was following me. And it was so deep, and it was so incredible, and to the point where I couldn't even talk anymore. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
And then there's a pause and silence, and they said, okay, what's next? Who else can tell me something like this? Like, it was unbelievable. And that's what the mind kicks in. The mind keeps kicking in, and that's what happens. But for me, what's always helped me from allowing the mind to kick in and asking what's next is, again, feeling a body part, or doing one of the other techniques that Gabor teaches. He's got a technique called reflex, where you chuckle like this, and it's like interrupting the interrupter.
Right, like, yeah, because it's so unusual.
Yeah.
To start laughing. Yeah.
I can't get into it necessarily right now, but the point is that if ever the mind is attempting to interrupt, and it will,
yeah,
because it's done it all our lives. It's always been in control, and it doesn't want to take a back seat. So feeling a body part again and again, and just maintaining that feeling, will always bring us back home. Always bring us back home. The mind can't follow us there.
No, I think there's a misunderstanding that people think meditation is allowing a blank slate for enlightenment to come in. Not really. The blank slate is what you're looking for. It's like, I'll go blank, so I'll get a message, a feeling, a sensation.
Yeah, but that's still in time.
Yeah,
we do something in order to achieve something here at the end, like the cheese at the end of the of our journey. But no, it's not. It's there are so many aspects of meditation that aren't it. For one thing, there's a beginning and an end to it. You sit, you try to calm the mind, and it might stop for a little while, but that's not the same. Silence. That's a calm mind. It's a state of mind. What you experience, what I've experienced, is not a state of mind.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing there. Just no.
Yeah. So it's not the same thing. And the fact that you have to close your eyes is completely wrong, because again, you're if you have to shut out something, where is the inclusion? Where it's I never close my eyes when I practice. I keep my eyes open.
I didn't realize how true that was. No, I didn't either. When I was doing it, I didn't close my eyes.
And it's a lot more powerful, because when there comes a point when you realize that there's no inner and outer.
No.
So why close your eyes? What are we trying to exclude from our experience?
Yeah.
That place is no longer in the senses anyway. So it's not like the eyes are going to take me anywhere. and distract me. Gabor calls it nonsense because it's not in sense. So.
I mean, because you had extensively done meditation and the ashram, you said it was hours a day, didn't you? Hours.
Well, I wasn't the greatest meditator. I didn't spend too much. I hated it.
Oh, did you? Oh, God.
Well, you know why? I always felt that something was wrong with it, because I would sit and I would feel sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I didn't know how to go inside. I repeated a mantra or whatever I did. Sometimes I fell asleep. I did very good sleepitation, but sometimes I did feel the peace, but there was, because it was in the mind, peace of mind, the mind has no sustaining power. So it never lasted. And then, or if somebody interrupted me, I get pissed off. Like, when Gabor and I talk and practice together and go inside, if the phone rings, it doesn't pull us out. We can do it watching TV.
Yeah.
Because, and people don't like to hear that, oh, TV is bad for the mind. Well, but we're not doing anything with the mind. No. This is not a practice of fixing the mind or making it, purifying the mind. We're not involved in the mind.
No.
We're leaping out of it. So it's very different. As you can see, we're not excluding anything. We're opening our eyes. And when I did meditation, I couldn't do that. As soon as my eyes were open and I had to go about my day, I could be the world's biggest bitch. All the peace was gone, and I was so pissed off. So I thought, like, why bother? What is this? And now it's a very different experience, because no matter what I'm doing, if we're walking, sometimes we call it the Christ walk. If we're walking, I can feel my hands, I can feel my feet, I can feel my breathing, and I'm in my body. When I walk, it's very different than a regular walk. And it doesn't matter if a siren is heard, or it's raining, or I have to watch out for dog shit on the sidewalk. It doesn't, those things are not in the same, they're here. Life experiences, and they're not being denied or excluded in any way, but we're here. There is the inner connection that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Unless
I felt that, Nurit. It sounds strange that it sounds, oh, what an experience. Your life must have changed. Well, I was doing the same things the next day, but the difference was, like you're saying, there was space around anything. Even if the same thoughts came, it was like, I wouldn't want to say detached because that sounds dualistic. Yeah. There was just space where you're not trying to pull away, but it just naturally nothing really hooked me in the same. Yeah. It was quiet.
I'm glad you didn't say detached, because it's a very spiritual word.
No, it wasn't detached. It was just a floaty.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't detached.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, detached. No, I don't think I would like that feeling. You'll become detached. If anything, it's just, I would say anything doesn't hook you in that doesn't matter. But I've noticed, like when you said I went for a walk, and I just thought everything does feel a little bit more, not different, but more, I can see it a bit clearer. It's not psychedelic colours or crystal colours. It's nothing like that. It's just, I think I'm just a little bit more there than I was.
More alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's life essence.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. Again, no words really. Language is in duality. So that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge of for anybody talking about this or teaching it is very difficult, because there is no language for it. Language is in duality. But the other thing that I realized after I've had that similar experiences, eventually I could see that was a preliminary experience of like a preliminary happening.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go back to the word experience, non-experience. And then what I found that it is necessary. People say, oh, you don't have to do anything. No, not true at all. There is a skill that needs to be developed through practice.
Yeah.
The more I practice this of feeling the body while sitting or while doing something or whatever, whenever the moment was right to do it,
yeah,
then it became easier and easier to do it. And it became, well, it's always easy to do it if the mind isn't interfering. That's why Gabor says it's either easy or impossible. If we try to do it with a memory or with a mind, or try to remember how it was yesterday and try to bring it back today, it's impossible. But if I feel the body, I feel a body part, and I wait. I stand guard and not allow the mind to interfere, and I just keep feeling and feeling and feeling. Then the door opens, and I'm there. And the more I do that, the more it becomes anchored, and the easier it is for me to stay there.
Yeah.
Right? And the more I do it, it's developing a skill. We have developed all kinds of skills. And this is also a skill, only it's a very different skill because we're not utilizing the mind for this skill.
Yeah.
It's not done through the mental apparatus. And it's also very different from our mental syntax that we're used to. It's not like the programming that's been imposed on us. So it's not very familiar.
No, it's not. No.
Many people go to teachers that are familiar to them. Oh, they say the teacher said something. Oh yeah, I resonate with that. And no, you resonate with it because it's in the mind. And your mind recognizes something familiar. This is not familiar.
No, it's not.
It's not familiar. So it's not a resonance. It's not a vibration. It's not a frequency. It's not energy. It's primordial, before all that.
I think I agree with you, Sage. You were that you're at that now. It would take, like you were saying, that to develop it so it becomes permanent. But to experience it once and understand it is profound. And I just couldn't believe, I don't want to say how easy it was, but in a sense, that is what I'm saying. Yeah. You could almost be a bit, but I think you did speak about this, or you have spoken about this, was I think the point I was at when it wasn't a giving up, but I kind of was like, you know what, I don't know what to do. I'll just watch who I enjoy. I'll connect with like you, who would like to see, and all. But that agenda or energy would kind of diminished a lot. Where I thought, I don't know what will be, and I don't think this belongs to any character. I don't think you have to be at rock bottom. You can be blissful. This is not exclusive to people in pain or spirit. But I don't know sometimes if that level of letting go would let you be more primed to say, I don't know anymore. I just think if that was a little bit of it where you could think, whatever,
The key is not to have an agenda.
Yeah,
There's no agenda. Yeah.
No.
There's no, some people think that they have to first clear their emotions or express gratitude or let go, like you said. I have to let go of my thought. No, you only have to feel your fucking hand. Pardon my French, but it's so simple.
It's almost comical. I'm sorry, it's almost a bit comical because I think a few years, you can almost say, oh God, is that almost not? Is that it? Because in a way you're grateful, but in another way I kind of was thinking, Oh my God, you know, all the things I've read.
Yeah.
But the things they were always energy going outwards, too much content.
Yeah.
And I literally, it was just, I'll just put the energy in my hand. I mean, I have done inner body meditations before, and I noticed they were more effective because I'm not very good at turning off the mind, but it didn't still do this. But it's still a process. Welcome to this meditation.
Yeah.
It'll be an hour. You think, oh, an hour, I've got to figure it out.
You keep looking at the, are we there yet?
Me. Then I'm me again. So no, it didn't really work. But it was just, yeah, it seems so simple. And, you know, have you noticed that people coming to you, no matter different stages, whether it's just an interest in emotional pain, this is not, you know, it's not, you have to, like I said, be at rock bottom. You have to, you don't have to know anything, do you, or be at any place. You just have to be open.
Yeah, right. There's no prerequisite. There's no some people are motivated to come because of pain.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes that helps. Sometimes, I mean, I was in pain when I went to India. I don't know if I would have gone if I wasn't in pain. No. When I went, that was many years ago. But then that, whatever the issue was with the pain was out the window, and I was doing my Indian thing, you know. So some people come with pain, but then it gets dropped. Unfortunately, some people focus so much on their pain that they try, that becomes their agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand, yeah, what you're saying. Yeah.
There's different agendas that we found. People they've been in a certain teaching, but obviously something is missing, or they wouldn't have looked for us.
Yeah, that's true.
And so they feel something is missing. So they think, oh, well, I'll try Gabor, and maybe he's got the missing piece, and I'll just add Gabor to what I'm already doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Does
happen a lot, wouldn't it? And unfortunately, it's building up, isn't it? When this is the complete opposite.
Yeah. It's like trying to go to a geography class when you're trying to solve mathematical.
Yeah, it would be.
It's just not on the same page, not on the same library. It's not the same. Or some people have pain, or have a problem. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a health. We've seen people like that. They have a health problem, and all they want to do is get a healing. That's all they want to do. But again, it's an agenda.
Yeah.
It's an agenda. So it doesn't work. If you genuinely feel your body, even if you're in pain, you can still feel it. Mm-hmm. And at some point, and you may have experienced this, if you really go deep into that space, into that nothing, into that indescribable nothingness, you don't care anymore about, you're not concerned anymore about any other pain or any other suffering. It's irrelevant. And it might be fixed and it might not. But that's no longer on the table. That's no longer the agenda. The agenda at that point becomes to stay in being, when being recognizes itself.
It's hard to say, isn't it? Because it sounds to say to somebody else who was really in the moment of it, it doesn't sound as if you're being compassionate, but I know exactly what you're talking about. There isn't really a disturbance by anything that could be suggested in when you're in that place.
Yeah.
It sounds an awful thing to say to somebody who's in pain, but it's not a not caring. It just is undisturbed. I don't know how to say.
We're not insensitive to somebody.
No, not at all. It's how it feels. It's what it is. And yeah.
And we can actually feel somebody else's pain as well. But underneath
very much so, yeah.
Underneath that, there is that being, that it's not a not caring being, but it's a deep, deep peace, unlike any other peace, that's there regardless.
Yeah.
And it is for lack of a better word, the agenda, not the fixing of something. You know, there are teachers, I know several, that won't let the student, or for lack of a better word, or anyone who comes to them, talk about their pain, talk about any experience. I know I don't want to hear your story. It's a story. It's an illusion. They don't want to hear it. Why? Gabor never does that. In fact, some of his sessions, one of the incredible techniques that he uses with people, if somebody is not able to, if they're suffering so much, if the problem is too intense for them to drop in or collapse inside into the body at that moment because it's so hard, he lets them complain. He'll go for a whole hour and somebody will complain and complain and complain. And he does that for, he gets into that place for them. He finds that spot, that space of nothingness or peace or whatever you want to call it for them. And at some point it turns around for them and they can be in that as well. Now, this is instead of them doing that at that moment, that's the way it is. But he doesn't mind doing that. He doesn't mind hearing what they have to say any more than we mind watching a show on TV that could be even violent. Because we're not.
That must be quite effective for people, because usually when you're complaining, it's either someone's commiserating with you, someone's against you. I suppose if the ego's complaining and just going into a drops of silence for somebody else, it's going to run out of steam quite quickly, but in a nice way on its own, without any content coming back from Gabor, just like dropping into a silence where. So I can see why that would be very healing for people.
It is.
To just speak without anything coming back to keep it active. Yeah.
It is. It is. And once you do it for a while, you've developed that skill, and you go through the practices. He's got many practices. Feeling the hand, as I said, is just the preliminary. I always like to go back to it because it anchors me. But there's other things that allow you to move in the body and even helps you with manifestation. If you have an intention in your life that you would like to see happen, there's many things that we can do with it. That's more of an advance. So right now, the Hungarian group is very advanced, and that's what they're learning. And at some point, we'll have a master class where people can actually master this, which is amazing. But even just without that preliminary recognition that you had, nothing really happens, because it always stays in the mind. And people go back to the mind, or they try to explain it. That's the worst.
I do think, I thought, if you asked me, I don't know what to say. But, I thought, is this going to be the most, but I know what, because you can't, everything you say is, well, it's not this, not that, but yeah. But I knew, and you can start radiating out of people who do genuinely understand. It's because you can't really talk about it. You can't. So,
and at some point you learn to talk, maybe not so much about it, but you talk as it.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, like from that space. Yeah.
Watch Gabor's videos, he's there. That's what he's thinking from. And many of his students now are able to do that as well. You get anchored so deep inside, and then you're able to say and speak and function from that place.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think of what to say. And if a thought comes, you can stop for a second, re-anchor yourself in the body, and say what comes next.
I think you can see that with people who are in that space. There seems like their sharing or information teachings arises from somewhere, that when somebody asks them a question, you can see there's no mind activity. They're almost waiting for something to arise. and it's so peaceful, but it's not, you can see it's not a pondering, a trying, it's almost waiting for just something to act. It's a completely different way of communicating, because some people could think it's a sense where your personality would disappear, it would be washed of any individuality, any expression, and that's actually, it's the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I like with you and Gabor on your videos, you're always laughing. You always seem really, you're always getting the giggles together. I've noticed on videos, you seem to find each other really funny.
He cracks me up.
But it's nice. I've noticed you laugh a lot, like you find each other really funny.
Well, we can't take it seriously. Yeah, this is not serious.
So from the space I'm at now with this experience, you would say to me, as someone who's experienced it first with Gabor, to go into that, what would you say to make it more of not a tipping point of I'm there once, then I'm going back towards the mind, to really keep being in the body?
I would say just keep practicing it whenever you can. And there's a very good video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on our channel. I also have another channel. I don't know if it's on my channel. There's a channel of a YouTube channel, sorry, of us together. I'll put it in the video on the bottom of the video here. I'll put the link.
Yeah, sure.
It's called Functional Silence. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Gabor.
I think I have it. Yeah, I think so. So it's you with him speaking. I think I have.
It's Gabor. It's Gabor guiding us to go into.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And that's on. Oh, you'll put the link so I can have.
Yeah, I'll put the link. It's really, really good. And also the meditation, lack of practice. They call it meditation. Can't get away from it. He calls it reproportioning of the attention.
Yes, I have seen that. That's really good. Yeah.
And what I often do is just go back to those and do it with it. It's easier.
Yeah.
The other thing is we will have a course very soon in the new year, an online course.
Okay.
With practices. The English course right now does not exist anymore. It was very advanced and then we stopped it now. It's just a Hungarian course. But anytime you want, you can have a session with Gabor.
I would love that. I would love that. That's the one time I really wished I was in Budapest. It was just like local, because I just think, but online I will have a look. I did have a look, but you said the English one is not available.
The course is not available right now, but it will be next year.
Okay.
It'll be an online course, a set of videos, and also a possibility to have a session with Gabor with the whole group. We're still working on it and developing it. But in the meantime, if you want, you can have a chat with Gabor anytime.
That's lovely. I mean, so you've got a group there locally to you, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Hungarian group. They're fortunate because they meet him regularly, you know, so it's different being with him.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Online, it's great too, but being with him, you know, we have sessions every other Sunday and it's a 3-hour session. So there's a chance to talk to him. In one-on-ones are very good too. The students who do from all over, we have in Canada, the States, England, we have a few people. The one-on-ones are very good too, because you're in direct contact and you actually talk to him. When we had a group, sometimes we felt that some people
get lost in a group,
hide behind and never say anything, and then we don't know where they're at. He's definitely not a mind reader. we did not leap out of our mind in order to read other people's minds.
No, because on a Zoom, if there's a lot of people, it's very easy to feel separate and not get the benefit of a one. And I can imagine, and I've heard other people say this, to be face to face with him like you were, it perhaps would have a bigger energetic, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, Well, when you're with him, and I've approached him many times, I ask him questions, especially my first few years actually weren't that easy because I had so much garbage, so much baggage, and things would come up and I had resistance, I came with a huge ego. I was in the teaching for so long and I should know things by now. And it was all bullshit. But I had resistance. And so I used to ask him a lot of questions all the time. And I would complain and this and that. But sometimes I would say something, even the smallest thing, and he could tell from what I'm saying where the misconception is.
Right.
Yeah, because he's dealt with so many minds, his own as well, at some point, and he can tell, and he can fix it. And one of his students once called him, did she say it? Master of precision.
Ah,
right.
Right.
Sometimes it's very subtle. You don't even notice it. You don't even notice how, like, I had incidences when I suddenly realized through talking to him how I was still leaning on things that helped me in the past, spiritual things, spiritual concepts that helped me in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize the attachment. I didn't even realize that in the back of my mind there was still,
How did the teaching start with Gabor? How did it begin? So was he teaching this or sharing it somehow as he met you, or is this just developed with the two?
Well, he had a small group. He had a small group in Toronto before, but that was nothing developed. So, some people practiced it and got something. Some people got bored because if you're not in, boredom is
you would, yeah.
Boredom is in the mind. If you're bored, that means your mind's still running, looking for some excitement. So people who looked for excitement were quite disappointed. Too bad, so sad. But so then he started developing it. But the real development of it happened here because he delved into the Hungarian, the depth and meaning of Hungarian language. It's unbelievable. I can't speak the language yet, but when he explains things to me, how it is, it's like amazing. Like another simple, the word vagyon means being, but it also means value and wealth.
Oh, right, okay.
So the words have, I'm sure most Hungarians don't even see that. Because it's just habitual. But it's just, there's so many of those things. It can't be a coincidence.
No, I didn't know that. So it's not got the meaning that it has in the English language. It's more enriched with all this,
it's a very ancient language.
Right, okay.
Very ancient language. So some of it got lost, I'm sure, but a lot of the ancient words still contain space, and they contain the keys, the breadcrumbs to reach the space. The best way I can explain it without giving you examples, because I don't remember all of them and it's not my mother tongue, but it's very profound. It's very, very profound. And
it looks beautiful up the behind you.
Oh, that's the parliament.
What is there?
It's a parliament. The parliament.
It looks nicer than the UK one. Shouldn't say that, but
listen, it makes the White House look like a doghouse.
Oh, there you go. You're as bad as me. You said it. Yeah, I was just thinking, that looks beautiful.
I heard that Michael Jackson, when he came to visit Hungary, he wanted to buy it.
Oh, really?
He didn't know what it was. He wanted to buy it. Yeah.
Well, thank God he didn't. But
beautiful city. I hope you could come someday.
I would love to, because I would love to meet you in person, and I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Just such wonderful people, and
thank you.
And I can't tell you, you know, how much I've enjoyed speaking. I feel like I've known you for ages. It's really strange. I think it's just when you get to ask somebody and they understand. So hopefully at some point I will, but the course is definitely in the session. It's definitely something I'll be doing. But yeah, so I'm just glad I could contact you with actually to say to people who watch this that, you know, this is real. I really understand what you're saying, but unfortunately I can't describe it, which is annoying, which I found annoying, but now I can really understand why you can't describe it.
It's actually good that you can't describe it. You have you have to go in and feel it.
You really do. You really do. And what you're saying was the way I know I've experienced it. So I could recommend anyone to really follow the teachings and really go there. And it, you know, like I said, it's not belonging to any. It belongs to everyone. You don't have to be at any sort of state. You're just doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the beautiful part of it, isn't it? That it's just simple. It's there, and it works.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
But thank you, Nurit. I remember it's nearly an hour. I remember you said the hour.
Yeah.
The hour is 9. But thank you, and keep in touch, won't you?
I will.
You. And it's been absolutely lovely as last time to speak to you. Thank you so much, Nurit.
Thank you.
Say hello to Gabor for me.
I will. Thank you so much. And please write to us.
Oh, of course I will. Yes, I will. You take care.
Any feedback is more than welcome.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get feedback. Thank you so much, Nurit. Lots of love.
Up to you too.
Bye-bye.